So in the world of real estate, there's a tool that's pretty much the bedrock for every professional out there, the Multiple Listing Service, or MLS. But lately, there's this big debate bubbling up, questioning what it's even for anymore. Is it a platform to help agents cooperate, or has it turned into something else, a system of control? Today, we're going to dive into this call to bring the MLS back to its original mission.
Okay, so first things first, what is the MLS really? At its heart, it was built as a business-to-business engine, and that's the key right there. It wasn't for the public. It was for real estate pros to work together, to cooperate, sharing information so everyone could get properties sold more easily. Think of it as a tool built for teamwork. And that's simple definition. It leads us straight to the core conflict in this whole thing. On one side, you've got that original vision, the MLS as this engine for cooperation. But on the other side, you have what a lot of people feel it's become, this heavy system of rules and enforcement. Basically, a body that controls how agents are allowed to do their jobs.
To really get a handle on this, we've got to rewind a bit and look at the original blueprint. How is the MLS actually supposed to work in the first place?
This quote from Jeff Lewis really hits the nail on the head. It frames the MLS not as some public utility, but as a professional privilege. See, you earn the right to use it by having a client. The whole idea was never for it to just be this giant free-for-all database where you could go fishing for new customers by advertising other agents' listings.
So yeah, back in the day, the value was super straightforward. The MLS was a place to share info among peers, period. Its whole job was to make it easy for Agent A to coordinate with Agent B on behalf of their clients. That's it. The product wasn't the data. Cooperation was the product. So if that was the plan, what happened? How did we get from that original idea of cooperation to the system we have today? Let's take a look at what some people are calling a serious mission drift.
Well, over the years, the role of the MLS has morphed. It's really moved beyond just being a platform for cooperation. Now it's become a system that dictates the rules for marketing, it controls how data gets sent out, and it tells professionals how they're allowed to serve the people who hired them.
And the shift, it's created a huge problem. You've got this fundamental disconnect where the rules of the system are totally out of sync with the actual real-world needs and strategies of both the agents and, the homeowners they work for.
So what does this actually look like on the ground? Let's talk about the seller's dilemma, because that's where you really see these system rules smash right into what a client actually needs.
A lot of the time, the problem comes down to this kind of all-or-nothing mandate. Imagine a seller wants to maybe test the waters with a coming soon listing, or maybe they have some really specific privacy needs. Well, rigid MLS rules can stick their agent in an impossible spot. They're forced to choose, do I follow my client's perfectly legal instructions, or do I keep my access to the MLS? It ends up overriding the seller's own strategy for their own home.
And here's the crazy irony in all this. These rules, which are often defended as being necessary to protect the system, actually end up doing the exact opposite. A rigid system that can't adapt to what the market wants doesn't preserve cooperation. It actively pushes it away. It forces agents and sellers to go find other ways to do business outside the MLS.
So in response to all this, the call isn't to burn the whole thing down. It's actually for a restoration, a return trip back to the founding principles of what the MLS was supposed to be.
And the path to get there is pretty clear. It's really about three key things. First, support the seller's own marketing choices. Second, respect the client's privacy and their unique strategy. And third, and this is the big one, fundamentally shift the focus back to prioritizing cooperation over control.
You can boil this entire argument down to one simple test for every single rule the MLS has. You just have to ask, does this policy actually respect what the seller wants to do? And does it help a real estate agent serve that client better?
If the answer to that question is no, if a rule is more concerned with just getting data out there than it is with a homeowner's real-world strategy, then that rule fails the test. Plain and simple, it's putting the system ahead of the very people it's supposed to serve.
Which leaves us with a final, pretty big question to think about. The only reason the MLS has any power at all is because of the agents who choose to use it. So, in today's market, what's really its greatest strength? The data it holds, or the members who participate in it? The answer to that could very well define the future of real estate.